Hi everyone, Jeff and Sarah back again. So today we are at a really special place. We're at the Old Royal Naval College in Greenwich. Now when you look around, this place may seem familiar because you would have seen it in countless films, from Pirates of the Caribbean to Les Mis, countless others. It's one of the most filmed locations in the UK.
And it is still standing despite looking like it was blown up in some films.
Yes, including 4 where we punched a hole through. So yeah, fantastic place. We're in the middle of a UNESCO heritage site. We've also done a tour of the Admiral's House, which is part of the same site. So if you haven't seen that, click on that one to take a look there. But today, the Painted Hall, absolutely stunning venue. We're going to give you a full tour. Sarah's going to show you around, show you everything about this place, and you are in for a real treat with this one. If you haven't already, subscribe if you like what you see, and subscribe to our channel where you get to see more of what we do. If you're looking to get married, if you're interested in wedding venues, then just hit that button, and if you ring the bell, then you get notified when we do more, send more uploads. So we're going to kick off.
Tell people where it is first of all, just because we assume that most people know where Greenwich is, but we will put a little map.
We put a little map up
just in case anyone's unsure where Greenwich is.
Greenwich, South East London.
It's on our doorstep, so we take it everyone knows.
And it's right on the Thames, but we will stick that map up there so you can see exactly where it is.
Yeah. So now we'll start the tour.
Now we will start the tour.
So here we are at the Old Royal Naval College. As you can see, the grounds are absolutely spectacular. It's steeped in history. And I'm standing outside the entrance to the Painted Hall, which is obviously the venue that we're touring you around today. So this is where your guests would arrive and the view that they would see as soon as they get here. Follow me and we'll wander up to the front door. This is the way your guests would all come into your venue. You can just see everywhere you look around. It's just amazing. So these big, beautiful doors give you a little bit of a glimpse of what you're about to see. And I'm going to let Jeff go ahead just so you can really see what your guests would see. It really has the wow factor over any venue we've ever been to. So here we are now inside the Painted Hall, and but you could see when Jeff did that walk in there just how beautiful and how stunning it really is. So as your guests all kind of make their way up into the Painted Hall and take their seats for the ceremony, I'm just going to give you a little bit of, not history exactly, because I don't know the history. We'll wait for Lizzie that works at the venue to give us a little bit of a rundown on the history later on. But I just want to highlight key elements like these tourchiers, I think is how you say it, but again, Lizzie will correct me. There's one either side of the staircase, and they are stunning, really frames your staircase. And then if Jeff shows us up towards the vestibule, not only do you see the amazing painting up there, but just the light that comes in from the top. And some of you might know it from the movie where Troy punched his hand through it, but don't worry, it is all still standing and all still fine. And that also reminds me of other films that were filmed here. Now the Naval College is used for lots of filming, so you probably recognise different elements at different times, but if we come up into the Painted Hall, you might recognise it from when Jack Sparrow was dragged on his knees all the way through the Painted Hall to the other end and turfed out a window. Well, you won't see the window was put in CGI, but you will see the big long stretch of the Painted Hall that Jack Sparrow was dragged along. So enough talk about movies, back to talking about your wedding day. So these steps can be used as a fantastic photo opportunity. You'll find when your guests first come in, this is the spot that everyone's going to stand to have their selfie taken with the Painted Hall behind them. But if the weather's not great and you can't have group shots outside, this makes a fantastic spot for group photos of you and your wedding guests. Also a lovely spot for couple photos of the two of you taken in of the whole of the Painted Hall behind you. So when it's time for you to get married, obviously your guests and whoever you're marrying, bride, groom, is also already up the end of the Painted Hall waiting for you. You will either come in the side door or through the main doors, depending on the weather, and make your entrance up these steps. So you'll walk this way, up the steps and into the Painted Hall. Entrances into rooms don't get much grander than this. So you'll have had your bridesmaids have laid your dress nicely at the bottom of the stairs before they walk down, maybe in front of you. And then these red day beds that are here at the moment are obviously all moved out on your wedding day. So imagine that this will be a clean aisle for you to walk up. The benches down the side, they will actually stay. Some of them are original, some of them are replicas. But as you get to this far end, this is probably about where your chairs will start, and you'll be walking where the benches are at the moment, and then your chairs will come out on either side. I'm just going to get ahead of Jeff a little bit so I can kind of demonstrate. So imagine your chairs coming out on either side and you're walking up the middle. And then you'll meet here just at the bottom of the stairs, and then this is where you'll meet your registrar. Quite often you might even be invited onto the stairs to exchange your vows, so you've got that little bit of elevation that people can see you. But in this area is where you'll exchange your vows with all of your guests watching. Obviously it's nice that your photographer can be either side, shooting in and shooting back down the hall, and any photographer you've got that's at the end of the aisle is going to take in this amazing backdrop that's behind you. And then quite often your registrar's table will be somewhere along here at the top of the stairs, so when you have your sign in the register photo, again you've got that amazing backdrop of the wall in the upper hall behind you. So obviously after you've had your wedding ceremony, you'll turn and walk back down the aisle and exit the end of the painted hall for your drinks reception. But just imagine we've fast forwarded and it's time for your sit down meal, and this is where you have a couple of choices depending on your numbers. You can come back in here after your drinks reception, and you can have your wedding breakfast in the upper hall. So if your numbers are between 100 and 120, this is where you'd probably have your wedding breakfast with tables laid out here. So you're still taking in the grandeur of the hall, but you don't feel too spread out. It's a little bit cosier than the lower hall for your wedding breakfast if your numbers are a little bit smaller. However, if your numbers are up to 300, you can have your wedding breakfast in the lower hall. And there's different ways that you can do that. You can have round tables spread throughout, or you can also have two big long tables that run parallel down either side, or even one table straight down the middle. But I'm sure Lizzie from the Naval College can give you more information on the actual layouts that you can have. But you get the idea, you've got a lot of space here to work with and lots of options. It's the best place to have dinner. Kings and queens have dined in here, so where better place to have your wedding breakfast. So just coming into the upper hall before we go back down the painted hall and exit to where your drinks reception would be, just imagine if you did have your sit down meal in here, and the top table along there, all your speech photographs are going to be looking up at that top table, and that's going to be the backdrop for your speech photos, which is pretty special. Not many backdrops look like that. So as you walked in here, I've been so busy talking about how it would look on your wedding day and where you would walk and all those sorts of things. I haven't mentioned the obvious and spoken about the painting by James Thornhill, often referred to as the UK's Sistine Chapel, and it's easy to see why. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. Something that's interesting about it is there's lots of different stories going on up there, so if you actually take the time to study it, you'll see lots of different elements. But one thing that is amazing that they were able to do so well is get the perspective right. We're a long way down here from seeing it up close, and everything looks into perspective in proportion with each other. But imagine when they were painting it, they were literally inches away from it, but they still managed to somehow get it to look in the right proportions and perspective from the floor. So yeah, it really is a masterpiece. So as we walk back down the painted hall, you'll see that this is the way that you would walk as you leave your ceremony. And you can really take in the grandeur around you now. You might have been a little bit nervous on the way in, but now you can enjoy the moment, enjoy the setting. As you're walking along on the original marble floor, you'll see the details amazing in here, but yeah, all original. And then as you walk up to the main doors, it's going to take you back outside to the colonnades, which is a lovely place to have your drink ceremony. All your guests can enjoy the setting around them, as well as enjoying champagne and canapes. And it's also a lovely spot for photos as well. So we're going to head on outside and see where you'd have your drinks reception. So before we head outside and show you the colonnades where you'd have your drinks reception, we've got Lizzie from the Naval College itself here. She works for CH&Co. Lizzie, it's amazing. Obviously, people are blown away when they see it. Can you tell us a bit more about actually the facts about the painting and the history? Because I've kind of skirted around it, but I'm sure I've not got it 100% right.
So yeah, I am pretty lucky to have this as my workplace every day. So the painted hall took 19 years to paint by hand, so pretty fantastic. And when all your wedding guests arrive, can you just imagine their faces when they see that in front of them? So, or the aisle even that you're going to walk down just before you say I do. So it really is pretty fantastic. The hall itself has hosted dinners for royalty. It's hosted an art exhibition at one stage. It was actually, we had art all over the walls. And it was the dining room for the people from the Royal Navy, and when we were the Royal Hospital for seamen. So it's got pretty much a lot of old stories to it.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned in another venue tour, the Admiral's House, which is also on this site, about Nelson laying in state here.
Yes.
I haven't actually mentioned it here, so tell us about that.
So just up in the upper painted hall section itself, when Nelson died at sea, his body was pickled and brought back to lay in state where it was in the upper painted hall. Then what happened was they then took that away for his funeral at St Paul's Cathedral. So it's pretty awesome. Every year we host the Nelson Society, and they actually kind of celebrate Nelson's life.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, as you've heard there, the history of this place is absolutely amazing. Back to the wedding side of it, what's your favourite part of the venue for wedding day?
Do you know, every part of it, like you just see the guest faces when they walk in, the children, watching a bride walk down the aisle, it just never gets dull. So it really is just beautiful. But I do really love when people are sitting down for their dinner and everyone's kind of really getting a chance to take in all the artwork and all sit and enjoy it and dine as everybody would in history.
Yeah, amazing. And I bet as well, because it's a venue that speaks for itself, that actually it's the sort of place you can decorate as much or as little as you want.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if we've hosted weddings in here for 100 and 400, so you don't have to be a ginormous wedding. It's how you kind of set everything up, which our team can help with, and then just things like adding some flowers on the staircase or a little bit of a centrepiece can just bring your wedding detail into it.
That's great. Thanks so much, Lizzie. I think, obviously, if you've got any more questions, by all means, get in touch with Lizzie and her team. If not, pop them in the comments and we'll be sure to find an answer for you. That was great. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, coming out through these doors now, and we come out onto the colonnades. And this is where your drinks waiters will be waiting with your champagne so you can celebrate your being newlywed. So, yeah, we're going to have a wander down here and show you all the colonnades properly. You'll see that this really is a beautiful area that opens up ahead of you. It's obviously undercover, so if it was not the best weather day, you're still undercover being in here, and a little bit sheltered as well. So, or in the shade if it's a really hot sunny day, so you kind of got the best of both worlds. So it really is a lovely spot for all your guests to kind of mingle, congratulate you after your wedding ceremony, take in the magnificent surroundings. So yeah, we'll just have a wander up here to take in the full amount of the colonnades. You've got all of this space, so you can kind of spread out as much as you want. So here you can see the colonnades really opens up around you, giving you plenty of space. Good spot for doing photographs, your group photographs if it's not so good weather outside. Also a lovely spot all along here for couple photographs. But if you follow me, we'll show you more of the rest of the grounds, and you can really see how magnificent it is, and also where you can have couple photos as well. So come on out here. And for once in my life, I think it might be good if I shut up and let you just take in the view, because it really, really is stunning. So it's a mirror image on both sides. So the vestibule that you can see up on that side above the chapel is the same as the vestibule on the painted hall side. And as you can see, all the way out to the river, across the river to Canary Wharf. So standing here in this central spot, you can really take in the whole of the site and the venue around you. As you can see as we pan round, there's great spots all the way around for your couple photographs, in the colonnades, in the middle here shooting, back towards the river, back up to the Queen's House. So looking down towards the river, right in between us and the river is Nelson's Gate, and that's also a great little spot for photos of you as a couple, particularly at sunset when you get amazing sunsets down the river. So yeah, that's a really lovely little spot to go and have some couple photographs. So now we've seen the colonnades outside and seen the amazing setting that this venue is situated in, we're going to show you downstairs where you'd go for your evening after party. There's no dancing in the painted hall itself, so all your evening dancing is done in the Undercrofts. So, and there's a pretty special way actually to get down to the Undercrofts. It's not just a case of down the stairs and there you are. So come and have a look at this. So now we're downstairs, just before we head through to the Undercroft where you'll have your evening dancing. This is when they did the restoration works here a couple of years ago. They actually revealed the original foundations and footings of the Greenwich Palace, which is what you see here. So yeah, another little interesting bit of history for you. So now we're going to head on down to the Queen Mary Undercroft, which is where you have your evening dancing. And this is a pretty special walk and a way to get down there. So take a wander down here, and as you come through here actually you'll see this is where your toilets are for your guests during the day, and there's other toilets at the other end. But I'm going to let Jeff go ahead of me so you can really appreciate what it's like to walk through here. How many venues have their own private underground tunnel to take them to their evening reception? The Chalk Walk is pretty special. And this can be lit with lanterns through here. You have lanterns in the alcoves. There's crests on each of the alcoves, which again is another really nice feature. And when we get down to the end of here, it's not just your evening party that takes place here, but this is a venue like no other, as we said before, and it has something pretty special through here that no other venue has as well. So we're going to show you that too. So how many venues have their own skittle alley? An historic one at that. So let's take a look at this before we show you the Undercroft for your evening. And as we've said many times on this tour, this venue is absolutely steeped in history. It's proper historic skittle alley that with some wedding packages you can have access to. So yeah, imagine your evening and then you've got access to the skittle. It is an added extra though, it doesn't just come as standard, but yeah, it's definitely something worth knowing about. So after you leave the skittle alley, you come through these doors here, and then this takes you through to the Queen Mary Undercroft, which is where you're going to be able to dance the night away. So this is the final bit of the venue that we want to show you. So come on through here. And you'll see this amazing space just opens up in front of you. And like the rest of this venue, it's pretty spectacular. So as we walk down this room, you'll be able to see actually just how big it is for a start. But just imagine your evening reception in here. So your band, DJ, normally set up down the far end. So this area, kind of underneath this chandelier that we're just coming up to, this would be your dance floor area. You've of course got your bar here, which when it's fully stocked, looks pretty cool too. You've got to imagine that full of alcohol. Then, like I say, coming back around here, this is where your dance floor area would be. So there's plenty of space for people to really extend the dance floor as long or as short as you need for your number of guests. Styling down here can be done for you, so you can have sofas, tables, posing tables, lower tables, also like a chill out zone down the side bit, so you can really separate the space for people that want to party and dance, and then people that just want to actually take the weight off their feet for a little minute between tracks. So it's nice that you've got the room down here to really make it your own and do what you want to do with it. So yeah, so now pretty much you've seen the whole entire venue. I hope you've enjoyed this tour. We love coming here. Every time we come here, it never fails to impress us. It just really, like I said before, has that wow factor. So we'd love to hear your comments and see what you thought as well. So put your comments down below. As we said earlier when we spoke to Lizzie, any questions you've got as well, either Lizzie and her team or ourselves will get back to you with an answer. And as always, we hope you enjoyed the tour. We hope you want to see more of our tours. So if you do, please subscribe to our channel. Also hit the bell so when we post another video, you'll be notified and you get to see all these amazing venues that we're lucky enough to work with and work at. So yeah, that brings us to the end of it, guys. Like I say, thanks for always sticking around to the end, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.